You are physically resting on the couch, but mentally you are still at work, punishing yourself for not being productive.
The illusion of rest. Welcome to another episode of our journey into the mind. Let me paint a picture that might feel entirely too familiar. You are physically resting on the couch. Your body is still, the lights are dimmed, and the workday is supposedly over. But mentally, you are still at work, punishing yourself for not being productive enough. You are trapped in an exhausting cycle of doing nothing but feeling everything. This is a phenomenon we often call leisure sickness, paired with an overwhelming sense of productivity guilt. Your body screams for a break, yet your brain treats rest like an unforgivable crime. We live in a world that glorifies the grind, making the simple act of stopping feel like a failure. But what if the way you think about resting is entirely wrong? What if the guilt you feel is actually preventing you from achieving the very productivity you are so desperately chasing? The productivity guilt. To understand why we feel so guilty when we stop moving, we have to look at how we have been conditioned. From a young age, society wires us to attach our personal value and self-worth directly to our output. We are taught that being busy is a badge of honor, and that stillness is just another word for laziness. Because of this, when you finally take a moment to sit down, your brain sounds an alarm. It signals danger because you are stepping outside the socially accepted boundaries of constant hustling. You start calculating the time you are wasting, thinking about the emails piling up, the chores left undone, and the goals you are supposedly delaying. This guilt creates a paradox. You are not working, but you are also not resting. You are suspended in an agonizing limbo, where your energy is drained by the sheer force of anxiety. Understanding leisure sickness. This constant state of mental friction often leads to what psychologists call leisure sickness. Have you ever noticed that the moment the weekend arrives, or the second you go on vacation, you suddenly feel unwell, get a headache, or feel completely drained? This happens because your body has been running on high levels of stress, hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, for so long that it forgets how to function without them. When you finally stop, the sudden drop in these hormones shocks your immune system. Your brain is essentially confused. It has been stuck in survival mode for weeks, fighting imaginary tigers in the form of deadlines and meetings. When you try to force relaxation, your mind resists. It perceives the absence of stress as a void that needs to be filled with worry. To break this cycle, we must stop viewing rest as the opposite of work. The paradigm shift to active recovery. This is where we can borrow a profound concept from sports psychology, the principle of active recovery. Elite athletes do not view rest as doing absolutely nothing, nor do they feel guilty for taking a day off. To a professional athlete, recovery is an action, not an absence of action. It is a calculated, deliberate phase of their training. When a weightlifter tears their muscles during a heavy workout, the muscle does not grow while they are lifting. It grows while they are sleeping, eating, and resting. Active recovery is the deliberate process of facilitating that repair. Now apply this to your mind. Your mental energy is a muscle. Your focus, your emotional regulation, and your problem-solving skills are all muscles that get depleted after hours of decision-making and stress. Rest is not a reward for a job well done. It is the fundamental requirement for keeping the engine running. Redefining mental rest. To practice active mental recovery, we must completely redefine what it means to rest. True recovery is not mindlessly scrolling through social media while lying in bed, because that still requires cognitive processing and emotional engagement. True recovery involves psychological detachment. It means consciously giving your mind permission to clock out. Imagine physically unplugging a heavy machine from a wall socket. You must learn to unplug your self-worth from your productivity. Tell yourself, right now, my only job is to recover. My active task in this very moment is to allow my brain to reset. When you reframe rest as a productive action, the guilt begins to dissolve. You are no longer wasting time. You are investing time into your future capacity. You are building resilience by acknowledging that your brain needs this downtime to process emotions and generate new ideas. You validate your own basic human needs, applying active recovery daily. So what does active mental recovery look like in everyday life? It involves low-effort, high-reward activities that engage your senses but demand very little from your prefrontal cortex. It could be taking a walk outside without your phone, feeling the breeze and listening to the ambient sounds of nature. It could be watering your plants, cooking a simple meal, reading a fiction book, or doing a gentle stretching routine. These activities serve as a bridge. They gently guide your nervous system from the hyper-aroused fight or flight state down to the rest and digest state. The key is intentionality. Instead of collapsing onto the couch by accident and feeling terrible about it, schedule your recovery. Write it down in your planner if you have to. Treat a 30-minute walk or a quiet hour of reading with the exact same level of respect and commitment that you would give to an important meeting with your boss. The transformation of the mind. When you finally master the art of active recovery without guilt, the transformation is truly profound. You will notice that your creativity, which may have felt blocked for months, suddenly begins to flow again. The solutions to complex problems will arrive to you effortlessly, while you are simply taking a shower or walking the dog. This is because a relaxed brain is capable of forming new neural connections that a stressed brain simply cannot access. Your emotional stability will improve. You will no longer snap at small inconveniences, and your overall patience will expand. You will discover that by working fewer hours but resting more deeply, your actual output becomes far superior in both quality and impact. You transition from being a machine running on fumes to a human being operating with immense clarity and purpose. True productivity is born from the depths of genuine rest. Permission to rest. As we conclude our session today, I want to leave you with a direct invitation. Give yourself the unconditional permission to rest today. You do not need to earn your rest by pushing yourself to the point of a breakdown. Rest is your birthright, not a conditional reward. The next time you find yourself on the couch and that familiar voice of guilt starts whispering that you should be doing more, politely but firmly tell that voice to be quiet. Remind yourself that you are practicing active recovery. You are healing, you are recharging, and you are preparing for whatever comes next. Embrace the pause. Let the stillness wash over you, without judgment and without conditions. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the absolute most productive thing you can do for yourself is to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and do absolutely nothing at all. The inspirations are yours. Subscribe, like, and watch all the video in this channel.